All right, all right, all right. I don't want to disappoint Tyler and not start off with his line. But anyway, welcome to 1 Million Cups, Bismarck Mandan. My name is Laken Ani. I am Program Director at the North Dakota Women's Business Center and proud member of the 1MC organizing team. I'll be your MC today, and we have a killer program for you. Two powerhouse women here to talk about their product-based businesses, and I am excited to learn from them. So let's get started. Do we have a random act of art, fellas? I'm going to say no. Okay, great. Here we are. Welcome back to 1MC, where we fly by the seat of our pants at times. Okay, so there is an app. If you have not downloaded it, if you're a first timer, please go to the App Store, Google Play Store, download the 1 Million Cups app and check in. This is how we track attendance. It also lets the national organization know how we're doing, and stats are always good. Special thanks to our sponsors. So we don't have a lot of expenses, but these folks also help us keep the lights on here with the rent at the stage, and they also help us purchase the coffee that you get to enjoy free of charge every week. So if you see them, say hello and thank you. What is 1 Million Cups? Any first-timers? No, great. Speaking of veterans, if there's any newbies on the live stream today, welcome. Drop a hello or say something in the chat so Adam can appropriately welcome you to our event today. So 1MC is a free weekly program that gives local businesses the opportunity to pitch their idea and engage with their community for advice and feedback. We ask the question, can we change the face of our startup community over 1 million cups of coffee? There we go. Now expertly brewed by Janya every morning. Okay, so we will have a Q&A at the end. Both speakers will go, they'll take their turn on stage, and we'll have a 15 to 20 minute Q&A. Use hashtag 1MCND on Twitter if you want to ask a question and you're not in the audience, or if you don't want to handle the microphone, and Kirsten or someone who's on social media will answer or ask that question for you. Similarly, if you're watching on Facebook, drop it in the comments section of our live stream, and we will ask your question. Okay, so the live job board is something relatively new, but the first 1MC of every month, we will host this job board. So if you or your organization has a job posting, get that to us ahead of time. You can message us on Facebook, or if you have our contact information or need that contact information, you can get that from us here, and we'll get you set up on the live job board and help you get those spots filled. All right, community announcements. If you've got a community announcement and didn't send your slide in ahead of time, that's cool. You can still come down. I'll hand you the mic. If not, we'll see what we have. Oh, look, it's me. Great. Cash resolutions for the new year happening January 25 through 29. We have a cast of incredible financial gurus, also small business owners, and folks that are ready to pour their knowledge into you. Oh, it's me again. Okay, that's great. Our Women's Leadership Program is now accepting applications until March 1st. So check us out, ndwbc.com. It's a 6-month program, and I would love to see you there. Okay, I think that's it. Without further ado, we will dive into our presentations this morning. First up is Ashton Hauff with Evertide. We saw her last year, was it, Ashton? Yeah, so she's here with an update, and excited to hear from her.
Thank you. Awesome. Hey, friends. It's exciting to be back on this stage and see you all after the season of life that we've just had. But today I'm excited to talk to you about Evertide. Let's see here. There we go. Before I begin, I might look familiar. I've been on the stage for a variety of other purposes. But today, although I love all of these things, I'm going to be focusing on Evertide. So like a lot of product or even service-based businesses, my business started with a problem that I experienced in my own life. I was using CoSchedule, which I love that team, love that tool for managing all of my projects for my clients. I was using Google Calendar to manage my events and my schedule. But after a year being out on my own and freelancing, I realized that I was quickly approaching burnout and I needed something to bring a little bit more personal growth, some mindfulness to find balance in my space. So about a year ago, actually, I was looking for a planner that could kind of fit that need. So I was looking at the market, seeing what's out there, and I had a lot of frustrations. So when I realized that there's a lot of weekly layout planners that were just too broad for what I needed something that was every day. Either the planners were all weekly or all daily, and I wanted something that had a little bit of a combination. A lot of the daily layouts had way too many options, too many prompts, wasted space, and we all know that if you don't finish that page, you feel disappointed, you don't use it again, and I didn't want to feel that way. I looked at entrepreneur-focused planners, and a lot of those were very, like I said, very specific, too many prompts for me. Time, right? We're trying to save time. Planners were either too large and heavy. I wanted something that was small and compact that I could grab in my bag and be on the go for my active lifestyle. And as a graphic designer by trade, I needed something that wasn't going to drive me crazy. I needed something simple. Aesthetics had to be top-notch. And then the last kind of wish list item was that I wanted something that was effective and daily and kind of hit the $50 to $150 annually. And that might sound like a lot, but as a female founder, as a lady boss, I'm totally willing to invest that into a daily system that works. So I was kind of listing off my pro and con list to my husband, and he just simply asked me, why don't you just make your own? And that was probably the most obvious aha moment I think I've had across all of my businesses. So I quickly went to my computer. I designed the daily spread that you'll see in the planner today in probably like an hour because it was just all in my head, and I was so excited. I was nerding out, and so the next morning I posted a mock-up on my Instagram just saying I'm so excited to start the new year with this, and to my surprise, I was completely not expecting this, but I had so many comments of other women like me wanting to buy the planner, and so I was in this really quick moment, unexpected, of what do I do next? So on December 28th, I shared it online like I just showed you. And then on the 4th, I used probably 20 to 30 people. I got them into a Facebook beta group, quickly ordered a month's worth of the planner and shipped it out so that we could test it through the month in January. Because I've learned from all my other businesses that you have to test it out. And just because a planner works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for others. And so that was super important to see if this thing actually had some legs. Throughout the course of January, it was looking good. We were doing surveys, and I was getting amazing results. So I knew that I really had to start seeing if this thing could be made with materials and price and really get it on the shelf. So throughout the course of February and March, I had to find the printer, the materials, do all of my pricing research, and really establish who my target audience was going to be. And I did decide that I wanted this planner to be a premium option for lady bosses like me, someone that's on the go and has to balance a lot in their everyday. So then in March, it all happened so fast, we launched the first spring planner, and so I have a video to kind of share what that looks like. All right, kudos to Threefold for the video. I know Caleb's sitting over here. So the last time I spoke to you was around February, March, and I was in the process of selling the first ever planners. So it's exciting to see it progress from there. So since then, my goal for the year was to hit 100 plus planners per quarter, and we did that in the summer months. And then in September, we were able to test some new products out. Ever since the beginning, I wanted to add things like an undated planner, bookmarks, and other products like that. And then in October and November, we were able to launch our new product line, and I just finished selling 110 of the winter planners and lots more undated planners, so it's been really exciting to see kind of the progress since I last presented. So looking at the future, I wanted to kind of give you an inside peek as to what's on my mind. We launched with the dated planner that you just saw there. We have one color option because I'm not quite at the quantity needed to get more colors. It's priced at $39, and my goal was 100 pre-orders, which thankfully we hit. Right now we sell with quarterly campaigns because the planner is 3 months, and so that way we can sell every single quarter. And I was using family and friend fulfillment parties, which has been really fun and super grateful for people that are willing to help. In 2021, like I mentioned, we launched the undated version of the planner, so we have 2 options. We're still sticking with one color until we hit that quantity mark. But my goal is to get the price down. So this year we sell between $29 and $39 because I added a subscription option. So even though the planner's quarterly, they can buy just once a year and they don't have to worry about ordering every time. My goal is to hit 140 pre-orders every single quarter. And I got the undated version on Amazon, but I'm also looking at doing some wholesale options potentially. And then, of course, making fulfillment more efficient. Now that there's more products, it's a little bit more complicated. Looking in the future, I would love to potentially offer a larger size for an annual planner so that they can have the full year. Of course, once we increase quantities, I would love to add more color options so people can customize that. And my goal is really to get it priced down to $25. I think that's the lowest that I'll ever want to go, but I would like to drop it just a little bit, and I think I can do that once I have a higher quantity. And then, of course, adding more help, part-time assistant, and then I'd love to get it on Amazon Prime. So that's kind of where we are today. I'd love to hear your feedback or advice, especially a mentor in the e-commerce space. It's always great to learn from someone who's done it. I'm looking at influencer marketing tips and also just starting to explore wholesale. And yeah, just open to any ideas that you have. I kind of laughed when I came to this slide when I was doing my deck. This is the quote I had last year, and I think it's even more true this year. Success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. So I just wanted to encourage all of you that failure is still progress, and that means you're just doing something new and exciting. So if you'd like to explore Evertide, our website is evertide.co. And then afterwards, Johnny was so gracious to bring one of my boxes, and I have the undated planner up front here if you kind of want to flip through it and see it for yourself. But yeah, I'll just wait until your questions.
All right, thank you, Ashton. Very cool. Okay, our next speaker is Pam Emmil with Driven Diva Design. She'll be talking to us today about her 5-second rule bracelet. We've got some bracelets up here we're actually going to pass out, so you can hold the product while she's doing her presentation. However, they're not for you to keep, so please give them back at the end of the presentation so we can send them back with her.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Here I am. Hi, everyone. I am Pam Emmil. Okay. I want everyone to close your eyes. And I want you to think about in your mind, what do you picture when I tell you to picture someone that looks like an alcoholic or an addict? Okay, open your eyes. Hi, everyone. I'm Pam Emmil. I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict. I'm also the creator of the 5-second rule bracelet, and I help people find their strength within. My pain gave me my purpose, and my purpose gave me my passion. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name, again, is Pam Emmil, and I am a wife, a mother of 2 adult daughters, which is crazy that they're adults now. And I am a driven entrepreneur who's on a mission to break the stigma of addiction, because addiction hit me hard, and I never thought addiction would happen to me. I designed the 5-second rule bracelet as a tool to help me. I never had any intention of ever telling anybody about my story, because who wants to get up here and talk about their private addiction? No. But when the good Lord talks and tells you to talk talk about it, that's what I do. But I suffered from opioid use disorder. I recovered in February of 2018. And the 5-second rule bracelet has given me the platform to publicly speak about my sobriety story and to break the stigma of addiction. Today, I just introduced myself. I'll tell you about my story. I'll tell you about my product. I'll tell you about the journey, the challenges, and of course, some pictures about behind the scenes, because that's really fun to see, because we do a lot of fun stuff behind the scenes. My story. I suffer from opioid use disorder. I had so many medical problems and issues. I was always the girl that people would say, okay, Pam, what's wrong with you now? It was always one thing after another, surgeries after surgeries, and I became dependent on opioids. Never thought addiction was going to happen to me. My sobriety date is February 10th, 2018, off of narcotics. That is not by choice. That is when all the doctors told me no more scripts for you. They wanted me to go into recovery at Heartview, and I was like, but I'm not an addict. Like, I'm just a mom who has pain, and I take pain medicine. Isn't that what it's there for? And I was in denial of it. And Heartview, I just felt like that was just not the place for me. I didn't feel like I needed to be in there all day and like go home for lunch. I had kids in high school for sports and activities. I was a business owner. I was an entrepreneur. I couldn't leave for a month, for intake. So by the grace of God, and God has just been with me throughout this whole journey, Ideal Options opened here in Bismarck. Ideal Options opened February 21st, 2018, and they're a medication-assisted treatment center for addiction for people to help get people off of opioids, drugs, and other substances. I was their very first patient when they opened their doors. I was scared to death. My husband and I walked in there. I had no idea if I was coming out. But luckily, after an hour, they let me go home. So I was very happy about that. All along, I was following a social media guru. Her name was Mel Robbins. Has anybody heard of Mel Robbins? Awesome. She has this thing called the 5-second rule, and it's not what you pick up off the floor in 5 seconds. So the 5-second rule is simply this. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal or an action, you must do it within 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move or your brain will stop you. Our brains are designed to keep us safe. It's called metacognition when we count backwards. When we count backwards, we have a starting point and we have an ending point. So what we're going to do, I'm going to tell you about my product and tell you how the 5-second rule fits into that. I highly recommend you go to my website, PamEmmil.com, and on the bottom you can watch Mel Robbins talk about her 5-second rule. I don't have time to tell you all about that good stuff today. So the product, the 5-second rule bracelet, and you are getting that passed around as well, because I really wanted you to feel and see the product as I show you the product. So we're going to count backwards. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath. Isn't your state of mind changed already? You can't wait for that next slide. Right? So that's the 5 seconds. You just simply count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it just changes your state. So here's the 5-second rule bracelet. Again, this is a tool that I designed for myself when I started recovery. I was using the 5-second rule. The 5-second rule is counting backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Change a negative thought to a positive thought, or do an action when you don't want to do an action. For me, when I was in recovery, going through withdrawals, I didn't want to get out of bed some mornings. I didn't want to do the dishes. I didn't want to have to call clients. I kept working. Nobody knew that I was going through sobriety. I didn't tell my closest friends for a year and a half. I had to do a lot of work for myself and through a lot of therapy as well. So I designed this bracelet, and it's made out of pink zebra jasper stone. Pink zebra jasper helps with stress, anxiety, relaxation, and contentment. And I saw that, and I was like, check, 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 sign me up. I want that bead. So what I did is I put in increments of 5, and then I have this beautiful stone. It's called an aurora stone. It just emulated light, and I just wanted my light to shine within. And again, that sounds really corny and cheesy, but again, I wasn't supposed to be telling you about this. So what I did is I simply wore the bracelet. This is my original bracelet right here. And whenever I was in, at a meeting, at church, with my friends, at home, whenever I was starting to get stressed, when my mind started going into negative thoughts, when I started feeling spiraling, when I had to just do an action of just getting up and doing the laundry, I simply would just touch my beads and I would go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touch that beautiful aurora stone. take a deep breath, and then do my action. Because again, if I don't act within 5 seconds, I'm not going to do it. So the 5-second rule is helping me, but I needed a tool that I could touch and feel. I was now finally diagnosed of the ripe age of, 47 at the time, with ADHD. But again, I can't take any medication for it because I will potentially abuse it. So this is a tool that has really helped me. So what I learned was, like I said, this was really helping me. So I thought, well, what if I add more gemstones to the bracelet, like supersize it? I want to get all the healing benefits as I can. You know when we go to McDonald's and they want to supersize your meal? Well, I want to supersize this bracelet for healing benefits. So I have the beautiful rose quartz. The rose quartz is my pink gemstone. Rose quartz helps with harmony, forgiveness, gentle love, and self-esteem. I have our beautiful purple amethyst. Amethyst helps with inspiration, emotion, addiction, and anxiety. We have our black lava stone. This is super popular because you can add essential oils into your lava stone and create a nice aromatherapy piece of jewelry. Lava stone helps with change, strength, creativity, and communication. We have our beautiful gray jersey stone. Jersey helps boost creativity, imagination, mental disorders, and helping you find your inner light. I have my cedarwood collection. This bracelet started off as my men's line, but when I had it as my men's bracelet, when I was at vendor shows, women wanted it because women always want what we can't have, right? So I have over 600 bracelets at my vendor show, but the women wanted that black bracelet. So now I just make it as my collection so women, men, and children can get the cedarwood collection. I did a focus group with men, and they like their beads together. Men are more visual. They didn't want to have them in intermittents of 5, so that's why the cedarwood is together as 5 for visual. So the black labradorite helps with stress, anxiety, and it helps with also protection and abundance. And that cedarwood is such a beautiful stone. It is the wood of God. It's very spiritual, helps strengthen focus, healing, finding your purpose, and has a very wonderful fragrance scent to it as well. Here's a picture of just like a collections of my bracelets. I have bracelets with bling. I'm a blingy girl, so I had to have the bling in there. I have bracelets with charms. I love bracelets with positive messages as well. Positive messages really helped me get through my sobriety, and it continues to this day. I love quotes and hearing good things. I love giving back. As a human being, we always want to give back to people, but we always don't have the money in our own pocketbooks. So with my business, I'm able to help people. This is my friend Beth Anderson. She's a 2nd grade teacher at Miller Elementary School, and she has brain cancer right now. And we were able to create a bracelet for her. Her favorite saying is faith over fear. That's how she lives by. And when you purchase her bracelet, $10 goes right back to Beth and her family. So we have raised over hundreds of dollars for her. So how can we be more mindful in 2021? Practice midday meditation. Simple, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Work on your breathing techniques, in through your nose, out through your nose. It's amazing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And take control of your thoughts. I know that sounds so easy, so hard to do, but it's really easy to do. Just when you're having that negative thought, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and change that thought from that negative to a positive and act on that positive thought. It really works, you guys. I'm standing proof of it. This 5-second rule literally has changed and saved my life. The pricing of the bracelets are all $20. All bracelets are handmade, and I do cleanse the bracelets with sage to get rid of any negativity. And my bracelets, I have my 5-second rule bracelets. The companion size bracelet is just a little bit smaller bead. You'll see in the package that I'm sending out. And I have charms, and I have the cedarwood collection. I just have an even price of $20. When I started the bracelets, I had a price point of $18 and $20, but I just found $20 was just nice. Everyone has a $20 bill, so they just shoot those. My mantra is helping you find your strength within. And I love when people write on Facebook or my Google page and let me know how this 5-second rule bracelet is helping them. It humbles me so much to know that the pain that I went through is able to help other people. So the journey, 5-second rule journey. It launched in 2019 after my girlfriends were like, Pam, you've got to share this bracelet. You need to tell people about this. I started with 30 bracelets at Apple Fest. I sold out within a day. I couldn't believe it. I met with the team at Gizmonics to help me get trademark registration for the 5-second rule bracelets because I knew I had a really good tool. I also met with the Idea Center and to work on a business plan, created focus groups to help me gear the product because we went through a lot of changes. I found a gemstone distributor because Hobby Lobby and Michael's just couldn't keep up with my demand. I've designed 2 websites in the past year. I have different display racks over the past year, and I also have changed my packaging in just a year. So where am I going now in 2021? Well, with COVID and the lack of vendor shows, I would really like to start doing Zoom and Facebook shows. I've been in the direct sales business since I was 20 years old, so I think I can figure this one out pretty easily. I would like to have a consistent space where I can sell my product in a retail place monthly, so I can let people know where I'll be monthly. I need to register now the bracelet as an LLC so I can continue to grow. The bracelet is registered, but under my old name, Driven Diva Designs, which that name is, we're trying to get rid of that one. I'd love to collaborate more with businesses and organizations to create charms, bracelets for their businesses. My big idea, this is the big one, I really would love to have a storefront space where people in recovery then could come in and help make the bracelets, give back of service, be of service, and be a place of unity where we can have hope and healing. So the challenges, COVID, that's what everyone faces. Social media, I'm just not that consistent with it because I'm making bracelets, doing everything else. It's a lot of work to do social media. Some of my bracelets are breaking, and I have no idea why. I do replace broken bracelets free of charge, and I send people new bracelets if they do break. And also to make my sales pitch shorter at vendor shows, because when you are walking at a vendor show, I don't know if any one of you has seen me at a vendor show, you'll look at the bracelets and they think it's pretty, but when I start talking to you, you're in my space for a good 10, 20 minutes. So behind the scenes, I did get my trademark paper, so thank you guys. That was super exciting. I had so many people mail letters from China. I kept emailing Evan, is China trying to really take my trademark? I have to pay them $5,000? He's like, no, do not pay China money. Here's a picture of my husband working. He can't do the beading, but he's really good at putting the bracelets on my boards for me and helping me with lots of other stuff. The middle picture is so cool. I met a man named Zach Brown this summer. He has a nonprofit organization called Searching for Warriors. He bought hundreds of bracelets from me, and he travels around the country, and he hands them out to people for free. He is my traveling angel. And this is a family in Texas who is wearing my bracelets, and it's helping them as a family, and that, again, warms my heart. And you know how we always say, work smarter, not harder? The postal system will come to your house and pick up your packages, and you just have to do that online. So that's been a real help to find that little trick out as well, so I don't have to run to the post office. So here's a picture of my first bracelet show at Applefest. I started with 30 bracelets. This was 4 months later at Pride of Dakota. I have 4 boards there, but 2 boards were earrings. I used to make leather earrings and other jewelry, and I just had 2 boards of the bracelets. But I sold about 204 bracelets over that 3-day period back in 2019. 2020, gotta love that pink face mask. I now have 6 boards, no more jewelry. It's just strictly 5-second rule bracelets and lots of tables with bracelets on it. And I did over about 450 bracelets at Pride of Dakota this year, which was amazing. So we started small, and I'm just dreaming bigger, and I'm so excited. So thank you very much, and let's connect. Thank you. I just want to grab my water.
All right, awesome. Thank you, ladies. I'll invite both of you back up on stage to start our Q&A. Evan is going to be the mic runner for us today, so if you've got a question in the audience, just raise your hand. He'll ask that for you. I see Kirsten is down here managing social media. And great presentations, ladies. Thanks both for being here. It looks like we've got one right up front. Okay.
Okay, so Ashton, you mentioned focus groups, and I know I've participated in a few experiments. Or you mentioned betas. You're a big beta
Sure,
and
yeah.
survey person. And Pam, you mentioned focus groups. If you could each just speak a little bit, is I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs overlook. They either overlook it or they're afraid to get that feedback, right? It's my baby, don't tell me it's got, ugliness. And so if you could just both speak to the role that has played in the development of your products.
Should I go first? So one of the biggest takeaways from my time at CoSchedule was test it. And I'm naturally a perfectionist, so obviously I have that same fear of I don't want to hear negative feedback, whatnot. But I realized that either you're going to get that feedback in the beta phase or you're going to get that feedback after you've invested tons of time and money into your product. And so for me, it's really an easy decision. Everything that I do, I try to test it out and get that feedback right away, because if it's positive criticism, it is going to help you the long term. So yeah, I mean, I would give that advice to anyone, is to test it.
Awesome. And I am not a perfectionist at all, so I need all the help I can get. It's very interesting. I did a focus group, and Tyler actually has one of my original bracelets. And I don't even sell that first style bracelet that I started selling. I used to have all these different gemstones, turquoise and agate, and lava stone, and just different. The bracelets looked different. They were in increments of 5, and they had that beautiful aurora stone. But what I found during my vendor shows, I felt like Oprah and Dr. Phil, because everyone was coming to me with their ailments and saying, well, what stone helps with knee pain? What stone helps with heartache? What stone helps with a bump on the toe? And it was like people were at my vendor spot for a good 20 minutes and people weren't able to get into my booth. And so I created a focus group and said, okay, this is what I know, that this pink zebra jasper stone sells the most, and then the Jersey stone, the rose quartz, the amethyst, and the lava stone. And that's how the bracelet now has formed to what it is today. And the focus group really helped me really zoom in on that and help me confirm what I needed to do.
Awesome. And I want to build on that a little bit and just ask both of you how your concept has changed from the first iteration to what we see now, and maybe the biggest thing you've learned in that process. Because they're both relatively new products, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the planners, the biggest change for this new layout is that I had to kind of change how I was doing the goals pages and added some routines pages, because I basically, now that I was in this business, I took all of 2020 to read everything I could about forming habits, the science behind, having healthy routines, and really the science behind bringing intentionality into your day. So I completely redesigned how we do goals, how you do kind of your daily rhythms with this addition of the planner. So even though the daily page, which is the heart and the soul, only had like a couple refinements, the introductory pages really changed because I felt like it would be way more successful for people.
Yeah, and again, so much has changed in the year. I mean, I started, like I said, September of 2019. The bracelets have changed, the stones have changed, and it has made my life so much easier. And I also found vendors in Canada, in the United States. I like to try to keep things in Canada and the U.S., because Lord knows we may all be in Canada pretty soon. I've designed 2 websites. My first website was through Comment Sold, where I could go live and sell my bracelets live. And that was a really neat tool, but I found I wasn't using it as much. So now I'm with Shopify, and I love that because it has so much more integrations and it has so many more tools, and it tells me how many people come to my website, put something in their cart, and don't purchase. So it's giving me a lot of that other stuff that I don't understand really what that stuff is, but I got to learn it. I've changed packaging. I started off, the bracelets were in a box, a nice little square box. But again, this year, and when I knew I needed to have 1,000 bracelets ready to go in October, I'm like, how am I going to have 1,000 boxes stored in my house? So I switched them to little nice linen baggies. So we changed that up. It changes. The one thing that has stayed true and consistent is the technique behind the bracelet. The 5-second rule will always be the 5-second rule bracelet. That's a technique that Mel Robbins has created, so it's not something I'm going to change up, but that tool is something that's just helping me.
Thank you. Evan, you have a question?
Ashton, I remember really early in your Evertide process, you talking about you're not a stranger to entrepreneurship, but I remember you talking about this is a product. I've never done a product. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about maybe some of the surprises that came from the product world that you expected, didn't expect. And Pam, you're certainly involved in the product space too. So just a little bit of discussion about the uniqueness of actually having a product as opposed to a service.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely used to services. That's like familiar territory, but with a product, I was kind of in over my head because suddenly now I had to figure out like what the market and the pricing is. I had to figure out shipping. I know you mentioned how the post office will pick it up from your house. I learned how to do that and kind of automate. Okay, an order comes through and I can ship it out, and how the tracking all works with that. Finding materials, and also finding materials at the price point that you need. Inventory, how many planners is too much to have, but you also want to meet the demand. And then like with Amazon, I've never tried getting anything on Amazon before, because usually with a service, you can just sell it right on your website. So lots and lots of things came with a product-based business.
Yeah, ditto. With again, finding the right product, the right price point for the gemstones, and again, learning how to how to find a weight scale and have a shipping label company. I use Shippo, and yeah, there's so many little things you just literally learn as you go, and you learn as you grow.
Thank you. Question in front.
I'm sorry, I love these two, so I just keep thinking of questions. Another topic is, a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we feel like we're already stretched so thin, and then to give anything away, just feels like, oh, are you serious? So, Ashton, I know you give a lot away on your website, and Pam, you do. Whether it's giving bracelets away, but it's also the time that you give and listening to people and helping them down their journey. So if you could both just touch on what role that plays in your business and the value that you see in giving things away.
Yeah, that's one of the main things I've learned from my Makeable experience is this kind of give first mentality, which is a little bit business backwards, but it's actually business forwards. And especially at Co-Schedule 2, it's all about what can you provide your customers, what value can you give to them so that you can start building that relationship. And so with Evertide, I knew quickly early on that I was going to need an email list in order to sell this thing. And so I created a gallery or a collection of free printables that are both, you can print them off, you can digitally edit them on your computer, but they're anything from a meal planner to a weekly planner to budgeting to your fitness plan, any sort of kind of worksheet or exercise that would guide them in that process and start building that trust. And it's been great because I get their emails so we can start having that connection, and they get to realize that this is working before they even buy it. And I even went so far as to you can download the daily page of my planner before ever buying it, because I truly want people to try it out and make sure that it works before getting the planner. And that's been really, really great. And so I definitely still believe in giving first.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes. I did a gift list printable so you could keep track of, your budget for everyone, if you've wrapped it, shipped it, the whole gamut, so.
That's awesome. And I thank you so much for seeing the value of my time, and that's what I do give a lot of. For example, I was up in Grand Forks for Pride of Dakota, and it was really slow, with COVID, and it was a 3-day event, and it was nice because as people were coming through, it wasn't as busy, so I could meet one-on-one with people. And when I share my story and being vulnerable, it allows other people to be vulnerable and share their story. And I had, when I was in Grand Forks, for example, I had 3 women 40 and over just break down in tears. And, you know, I tell my story, let them go, and then they come back to me and crying. I'm like, oh, God, did you break a bracelet? Did you hurt yourself? Like, oh, what's wrong? And they're just like, your story just touched me. Can I share my story? And I'm like, absolutely. And then they share their story of what they've gone through. And then I just say, take a bracelet. Let me gift you a bracelet. So then I usually gift them a bracelet because we've just connected. And some people, when they can't afford a bracelet, I can tell. They're like, well, I would like to get they always, and I love the people that are hurting the most always want to give a gift. They always want to gift it to somebody. They're not thinking of themselves. So I'm able to send, you know what, let's gift it to your friend, but then I'm going to gift you one as well. So I love doing that on the spot as well. And then again, I've also worked with MLM companies, with Isogenics is one of them. A director made charms with her team on it. And so when they purchase that bracelet, then I'm able to give money back to the Isogenics Foundation. So it's with Beth's fundraiser, in any way that I can, yeah. But time, I do give my time freely. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Question over here.
Yeah. So good. Thank you for being here today, ladies. Your stories are both inspiring and like just full of great knowledge. Okay, so Pam, I do have a question. How did you read this, like go from reading this book to like making the bracelet? I mean, I would be intimidated by, this is like her trademark name, I guess, the 5-second rule. So how did you make a bracelet out of her book?
I mean, I just did it. That's part of being what's my personality. There's a name for my personality. I just don't give a you know. I just do what I want to do, and it has served me well, and sometimes it has not served me well. I did it for myself. You know, I was struggling so hard, and I knew this 5-second rule was helping my mind, but I needed, again, like I said, I needed sensory. So I just made it. And I researched, the 5-second rule is actually trademarked by Hasbro. It's a board game. So Mel Robbins does not own that trademark. It's just a tool. And I have reached out to Mel Robbins. I have not heard from her specifically, but I was invited to be a guest on one of her last shows talking about the 5-second rule, but they did not pay for my airfare, so I couldn't make it. But I did get an invitation to be in the audience, which was pretty cool. But my goal is to connect with her. So I'm tagging her on every post now. Now that I have my trademark, I'm tagging her on everything. Because if she wants to buy it, you know, well, no, I'm just kidding. But I just did it. I was already at such a low point in my life that I was like, bring it, you know, so I just did it.
That's awesome. It goes back to your quote, Ashton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that quote.
Okay, Kate asks, do you send your products to review sites, for instance, Wirecutter for your planner, Ashton?
No, I haven't. What was it? Wirecutter?
Wirecutter, yeah.
I'll
Think
look into
about it.
that. Yeah.
I think that's all
Any more? Okay, great. So Pam, you talked about the trademarking process. Ashton, this question is for you. Have you considered doing anything like that to protect your product, your name, et cetera?
Yeah, I actually talked to Evan and Johnny about it a couple months back, and in the chaos of the holiday season, it just wasn't the right timing, but definitely looking into it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any tips for her, Pam?
For the trademarking, they just do a wonderful job. I mean, just be patient and don't accept any letters from China.
From China?
You'll be fine.
Perfect.
You'll be fine. The trademark does not cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
When in doubt.
Yeah.
Stay
And
with
I
the
would just
Chinese
always
mail.
email and call Evan. He's like, no.
All right, I have a question, but I have to tell you, Pam sent us the cutest video. She actually had someone video her opening the envelope that she thought was probably the legit one.
Yes, I had received so many envelopes in the mail, and I said to my daughter Courtney, I said, Courtney, I think this is it. Can you videotape me? And it was at the most unflattering position. She was laying on the couch and like videotaping me. I'm like, so I never posted it because it didn't flatter me very well, but I did send it to you. But I was so, it was such a high. It was definitely one of the highs of my business. It was, for me, I have a problem seeing things through, and I think that's also the entrepreneurial spirit. I've had 3 businesses, and I just bounce. You know, I think everyone's like, "So Pam, are you healthy? And what are you doing now?" That's kind of the things that they say to me. So it just felt like I completed something, and it felt so wonderful. I felt like I arrived.
Well, it was a beautiful thing, and you totally made
Well,
it.
thank you guys.
But I do have a question. You had mentioned just earlier, just a bit jokingly, but it led to a question. You talked about, well, maybe she'll want to buy it. So that, about the 5-second rule, about your bracelet.
Oh, about Mel Roberts.
Yes, about Mel. So that leads me to asking both of you, and I know you're still both very early on, but have you thought about what is that exit strategy someday, or is this something you're going to keep doing like 10 years from now? If I was sitting here, would you be giving me the 10-year update?
I mean, I definitely want to be doing it in 10 years. I would love to hire a team so it's more of a passive income for me because it's very cyclical, it's very seasonal, and I could certainly develop the processes needed to do that. But yeah, I haven't thought about a specific exit plan or if someone would want to purchase it. That's just kind of that's kind of out there for now. But yeah, I definitely want to stick with it and keep doing it. And as long as there's a demand, I'll keep doing it.
I just want to keep going with this. I would love to do more public speaking. I would love to talk to and get in with companies, share this technique with companies, and talk more about addiction. There's so many people suffering from addiction, and I was a closet person. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know how to ask for help. And we need to be more out there in the public. And I would love to just help people with that. I would love, like I said, to have a place where people in recovery can come together and make the beads, make the bracelets as well. I would like, I think it's all going to be recovery goal oriented for me because it's so important, and to really break the stigma. I have to ask you, when I asked you that question to think of an addict or alcoholic, did you think of someone that looked like me in your mind? And that's, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we got another question online, it looks like.
I think it just got answered, actually.
Oh,
So, wait. Okay, a brand new one. This one's fresh.
Kate is lighting us up. What is the biggest positive of having your business based out of North Dakota, and what is your biggest challenge?
Do you know the answer? I could go.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's what we're doing right now, right? It's the one-on-one connections. North Dakota is just like all one big giant family. So I think that definitely helps. For me, the challenge is how do I get my planner outside of North Dakota, right? So how do I get it in the hands of some influencers that really can take it to the next level? And so that's something I'm looking at now.
Yeah, and the support from us North Dakotians has been amazing. So many people purchase my bracelet as gifts and send them away, and I have received, and I have mailed orders all over the country and Canada, and it's because of people gifting the bracelets, and then they buy them for people. So that's how it's working for me, is the generosity from the people here. And I really feel that Bismarck supports entrepreneurs, and there's even through this COVID, people were, how can I help you, Pam? What can we do? My sales were through the roof this season, and because they want to support us entrepreneurs, they really do. Mm-hmm. So it's been a blessing to be from here.
any other questions? None yet? Okay, great. Pam, this one's for you. You mentioned the stones and that they have certain healing powers. What's your response to somebody who maybe challenges that and that it's too like woo-woo for them?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have a lot of people like that. When people say, well, I don't believe in this or whatever, and I said, that's fine, that's your choice. I said, this is a tool that has helped me, and I'm just bringing it to you. You decide if you want it. I had this lady, it was in October when I did the big one, so it was my second big show. And she was in her 60s, and she had a lot of anxiety. And I talked with her, and she just wanted to hear how it's helped me. How did it help you? How do you use it? And I think she was just trying to find that connection. And so she purchased the bracelet. I was at the mall in December during right before Christmas. I had a spot in the mall, and she came up to me with her daughters, and her daughters were snickering. I'm thinking, oh great, she's gonna let me have it, like oh the voodoo lady, And she said, Pam, I can't express to you how much this bracelet has helped me. She goes, I have decreased my anxiety medication by using this tool. She said, I really didn't believe you, but I thought, well, at least I'll have a pretty bracelet. So.
Thank you for sharing. Looks like we've got another question from Kirsten.
Yeah. What is your level of youth engagement with your products? Do students respond to your planner or bracelets?
Yeah, I've gotten quite a few college students that use the planner. They really like it for managing, their studies, and then usually they're working a job, they're trying to get an internship. So it really is a good fit for college students. Don't think I've had any high schoolers try it out. If you're watching and you are high school and you've tried it out, let me know.
I'm fortunate enough to have daughters that are college age, and so my daughters wear the bracelets, and then their friends pick up on it. I have a mother-daughter set, so that's been very popular for the college girls to give their mom for Christmas or for Mother's Day. So they have the big size bracelet, and the daughter has a smaller one. I have a cute poem that goes with it. And I'm just now kind of getting into the high school market with the boys. So that's been really exciting. It was just a boy who got it for Christmas, and now 5 of his friends want it. So I hope it's kind of like that old shampoo commercial. Well, and she got it, and he got it, and it just kind of continues. So again, I think for each of our businesses, it's very personal. Mm-hmm. It's making those one-on-one connections, and then people sharing it with their friends and family.
You bet. Evan.
You guys have both talked about support from the community and family and friends, and I was wondering what advice you might have for friends of entrepreneurs in terms of how to best support you in this role.
There's a lot you can do. Showing up, because at least for me, it's hard to ask for help. And so when I do ask for help, it's when I really need help. So showing up is huge. But it's as simple as just being an advocate with your friends and community. I mean, we just talked about how one of the best ways of marketing, if they can just, like our posts, comment on them, engage with our emails, whatever it is, just engaging with the business is probably the best thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Ditto.
Great. Dot, you have a question.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. My name is Dot, and I'm with the Man Progress organization. And my question is kind of self-serving, but hopefully it will be beneficial to others that are in the audience. And that is, what type of impact participating in trade shows has on your ability to grow and market your business? The Man Progress organization hosts one of the largest summer events, the Art in the Park Festival. And so I'm just curious, because you mentioned Pride of Dakota events and other activities. I mean, how has that helped you expand your business?
I couldn't have a business without it. I did the Art in the Park this summer, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing. That's how I connect with people. Vendor shows, that is, that's what I need. That's the gravy, that's what I need. And that's why one of my goals for 2021 was to find a retail spot where I can be at once a month. I am going to be at a vendor show in Mandan this weekend at the Depot. And that's every third Saturday of the month, so that's something consistent that I'm looking forward to being a part of. And I have a friend in the mall who's letting me come in at Savvy Owl as well to come into her store. But the vendor shows are so important. And with COVID, and I'm actually scared to go to vendor shows. I'm glad we all have to wear masks, but so that's challenging right now. So, but vendor shows and vendor shows that are properly advertised and getting the right people to the shows. That's very important for me to make sure that it's getting advertised by the owners, business owners, and by the vendor show people themselves. But yeah, they're my business. So thank you.
And I was just at the point in the fall when I was starting to explore trade shows, but obviously with COVID, a lot of them got canceled or moved or virtual. And so I did a virtual one, and it was pretty good. But for me, I guess one thing that I look for when I am exploring different trade shows is I love data on how many people come, what types of people. Because if I'm going to invest a full weekend physically and with my time and with my money, I want to make sure that it's the right audience because I do have a very specific niche group of people. So if you're in that space, maybe just surveying your people somehow would be helpful for vendors like us.
Absolutely. I'd like to know, like during Pride of Dakota, they would always announce at the end of the day how many people came through, and that was helpful to know how many people are coming through.
Any questions from the audience? Evan? No? Okay, great. So moving into 2021, you talked about the future and what you plan to do. For those entrepreneurs who might be on the edge of jumping into something, what's a piece of advice that you would offer to those folks?
2 things. Don't be scared to express your idea. I had to kind of overcome that with my businesses. And so first and foremost, just tell someone, like tell your partner, tell your mom, whatever it is, just get the idea out there so it can kind of figure out its way. And then secondly, I already said this, but to test it. Make sure that it's valid and worth your time, because it's great if it's a hobby and it's something that you enjoy, but if you want to actually make money off of it, you have to test it and make sure that it has a spot in the market. So definitely go the fast route, make something as fast as you can and fail as fast as you can.
Yeah, I love fast and fail, and I don't test my products, so I'm not one who I designed a planner. I've also been in social media as well, so we have a lot of. I'm the older version of you, and I just went with it. But that's my personality. I just go with it and I figure it out as I go. And again, sometimes that serves me well, and sometimes it doesn't. But and I figure it out. But I just say, just go for it. No idea is a bad idea. If it's serving you, it's going to serve somebody else. Absolutely. And and talk to your family and friends, but don't let them be the deciding factor if you're going to continue with it, because sometimes they're not the most supportive. So just get out there.
Very good. I think we're coming up on the 5-minute mark. So Evan, I will let you ask the final question of the day.
Well, Ashton and Pam, thanks so much for being here today. We really enjoyed hearing your stories and getting the updates, and I think we all wish you very, very well. Last question we always like to ask is, what can we, the Bismarck Mandan 1 Million Cups community, do to support you?
Yeah, that's a great question and why I love coming back. The biggest thing you can do to help Evertide is honestly just to try it out, to download that daily planner on my website for free. And even if you hate it, I would love to know why you hate it. So just try it out. Let me know what you think. That would be huge.
Wonderful. And for me is, you can go to my website, sign up for my newsletter just so we can stay connected. I also offer discounts, so giving, 20%, which is like, 20%, but it's so valuable when you get those emails as well. And just being supportive and saying, hey, I met this girl at 1 Million Cups. I think she may be able to help you when you're talking to your friend or your sister or your mom or your brother. Just letting people know what we're doing.
Thank you both again for being here, and thank you for being here. Thanks for joining us online. We'll be back here next week, 9 a.m. with Bill Breen with Bountiful Rays. And after that, David Witham. And he's here today. Hey, buddy. Yeah, so come on back every Wednesday, 9 a.m. at Dakota Stage. If you want to apply to present, go to our website. I'm sorry, guys. I put the clicker down. It's my second time. And okay, great. There it is.
Here's the clicker if you need it.
Perfect. I think we're good now.
Okay.
With that, let's close the show. Have a great week. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you all next Wednesday.
Thank you.